Record. All right, so we're recording this now. So what I've done is I'm launching Dreamweaver. One thing that's important, and I've seen, and I got caught on this. If you look at Dreamweaver, look what it does. It gives you a Bootstrap tab. Don't use this. We're doing this from scratch, okay? It gets really confusing if you try to get into this and start using the Bootstrap right away. I want you to do this manually, okay? So don't use the Bootstrap tab on Dreamweaver. You can use it later once you start to get your sea legs, but let's just start with bare, no framework, HTML5, HTML doc, bam. Okay, so I've created this blank doc, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I've got to link to the CSS, right? We talked about, you build a style sheet, you build a separate CSS doc, you write your CSS there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just embed that with a link to that CSS file in Bootstrap. So to get to that, I went to the wrong browser here. To get to that, I go to getbootstrap.com, and at the top, you'll see a Get Started button. Underneath here, there's a few ways to do this. This is software as a service. This is getting the source code and compiling it, and this is just a download. I don't want you to do any of these. I want you to just use a CDN. So CDN is a content distribution network. It's basically some guy, some school, maybe a university, maybe a company, hosting this CSS on their server, okay? So it just sits on their server, and in this case, it's Mac CDN, or it's actually twitterstrap.cdn, but that's, we're just linking to, so instead of linking to the CSS right next to it in the same folder, or in a folder called CSS, we're doing a global link over to this other host to host the CSS. So all you have to do is grab this first line. You can get these are optional here. This is the JavaScript. Is this really hard to see? Yes. This is the CSS. This is the optional theme. You don't need that. We're not going to touch on that. This is JavaScript. I'm not teaching Bootstrap JavaScript. It does some cool things, animations, slideshows, drop downs. It's for another day. This guy's, I can see his wheels turning already. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, it's cool. Sheldon's over there too. I'll check it out. So I'm just going to copy this link to this style sheet. Okay. Boom. Put it in my head. Bam. I'm now ready to do style sheets using Twitter Bootstrap. So now, so you guys are thinking, great. Now we're all, not only is he prescribing the design for us, now he's forcing us to use Twitter Bootstrap, and we get this single design. Here's the thing. When you style with Bootstrap, that's a starting point. You're gonna use their components, you're gonna use their navigation elements, and then you're gonna write your own style sheet on top of that, and you're gonna modify it, okay? So this is just our starting point. So what was that first one? That was Jumbotron, wasn't it? Let's go and get Jumbotron and drop it in. So now I'm gonna go back up to components, and I'm gonna look at some of these elements here. So there's breadcrumbs, there's navbar, there's navs. Jumbotron is probably like the one I like to start with because it's nice and easy. It's just a class that says Jumbotron, right? And there's a heading inside it, there's a paragraph with some content, and there's a button here that's already been designed for you, and the button doesn't take you anywhere. That's what the hashtag does. And you're saying the role is the button, and learn more is the text. So I'm gonna just copy this and hop over and drop this in, boom. And I'm gonna split this. And so there's my Twitter Bootstrap. So you notice the font's what? Helvetica, right? The buttons here. It doesn't look exactly like it does on the web. So let's save this and look at it in a browser. Okay, so we're gonna just call this Alrighty. So let's look at it. So you notice it's still going all the way across. And so one of the things that I want to show you here is, good morning, is pretty much everything that you do in Bootstrap needs to be wrapped in a container. And so a container is just another div that just wraps all of the code for the page. And so I'm just going to make this div. And so you're always pretty much going to start here. It's a class. It's called. Now look what happened. When I started typing, these are all the classes that are available to you now from Twitter Bootstrap. So preloaded all those classes in Dreamweaver and says, oh, yeah, I get it. So container. Notice there's two containers. You can't see that. Let's see if we can fix the style on the preferences on this. It'd be great if I could. Where are you? Fonts. Yay. Okay, so I put in container. There's container fluid and container. Play around with them. Try them both and see what they do. You'll see some response, some different responses. All right, close it. Sorry, close it. Come down here, close this div. So now it's wrapped inside a container. Look what it did. It automatically centers it on the page, rounds the corners, makes a nice little placeholder for you. Let's save it. Let's go to our Chrome, refresh. So now we got a Jumbotron. So one of the things, again, one more thing that Bootstrap does that you guys can't do. We just went through this whole thing with showing you the app media tag, right? And how to size things and how to do responsive layout based on the device width or the width of the browser. All of that is taken care of by Bootstrap. So if I shrink this down, it automatically makes it a, so you see what it did? It shrank the text. It shrank the margins on the left and the right. Boom. So that's called responsive. And you'll see when we put a menu in here, it does the same thing. Makes the menu go away and hides it up in the top. Gives you the little cool little 3 fingers, touch it, drop down. Let's do it. Let's drop in the navigation. So the navigation I like to use is called nav pills. It's under the nav bar, I believe. So this is the nav bar, which has a lot of things, right? So you've got some branding here. You can put a logo in. You've got these links. You can do a drop down. You can do a search. Don't worry about any of that right now. I'm actually going to have to search on it in this page. Nav pills. Here we go. So if you go down to pills, search on nav pills in the Twitter Bootstrap components. This is it, really basic, right? You've just got these little rollovers with these little circles. And what is it? It's a list. It's pretty simple, right? I mean, look how simple this code is, and look what you get. So I'm going to come up inside the container, but above the Jumbotron, and I'm going to paste those nav pills in and save it. And there I've got navigation. So later on, we're gonna take these and we're gonna modify them and make it look, the style look completely different. It's gonna be a completely different page when we're done. So let's shrink this and see what happens. Boom, nothing. Do I have to have the JavaScript installed? Let's see. Come back to getting started. Go down to the CDN. Get this. Bless you. back here, go back above the head, put in the JavaScript, save it. No. Okay, so there's to get responsive, you have to do something else, and we'll have to figure that out later. But for now, you've got just real simple buttons, navpill buttons here, and you can drop stuff in. So that's kind of the introduction to JavaScript. The nuts and bolts of it, as far as the design side of this goes, is the grid system. And so now I'm going to talk about the grid system, and you guys are going to kill me. You're thinking, oh, I can do this. This is easy. Container, Jumbotron, navpills, simple, right? Okay, so the grid system is a way of designing in Bootstrap. Let's see here. And let me go to the top here. Right here. It's the grid system. So I'm on the second page. It's under CSS. Really what it does is it breaks the page into 12 columns. So it's very much like using a table to design, but it's not incorrect design. You're still using components that are correct. You're not putting data in a table, right? You're putting design elements in a grid, but it's kind of the same metaphor. What I'm going to show you then is media queries, grid options. So there's always 12 grid columns that go across. There's breakpoints for different devices. So if I use column small, and you'll see what I mean here in a second, as I shrink the page is going to respond and make that grid kind of break vertically. So let's just do it. Let me show you what I'm going to do here. So and one of the things that you have to do is these are all invisible elements. You can't really see them. So I always throw a style sheet in and kind of put outlines and borders around them or backgrounds on them. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to use the medium column, and I think there's a shortcut for this, and I learned it last semester. Now I've already forgotten it. Anybody know the shortcut for doing multiple styles, like using wildcards? You ever do that? I'm looking at you, Frederick. Frederick, no? Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we're just going to do 6. I can do up to 12. Let's do 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that's 12. That's 11. It's 10. 9. It's exciting, isn't it? 8. 7. Okay, so I've used all of the, I'm just kind of overriding the style for column medium. And I'm just going to say, look, put a border on it. 1 pixel, solid, green this time. Okay. Oh, I guess I have to call out that this is going to be a style, right? Put these between some style tags. Yeah, that's better. All right. So I'm still inside the div, and I'm going to put in a column. So first thing I got to do is I got to put, and these are all done with divs and classes. So I'm going to do a div and a class. First thing I'm going to do is a row, and I'm just announcing that I'm putting in a grid across the page. And now I'm going to do another div, and I'm going to put in class, and I'm going to put in it's going to be a column dash medium. And this one's going to go, I don't know, let's do a 2 of 8 and a 2. So that adds up to 12, right? Oops. All right, so there's a 2. Oh, screwed that up, didn't I? There we go. All right. So now if we go up here and look at at the top here, it's actually showing me the divs are filling the page at 2, 8, and 2, right? So how do, why? Why am I doing this? This is a classic website design, right? Column down the side for like sub-navigation, column down here for about us or other information, content down the middle for main navigation, right? So I'm going to save it. I'm going to hop into here. And so there's my green borders. Again, who cares, right? Well, if I shrink this, look what happens when I shrink it. How's that going to work on a phone? It's going to work. It's going to be a lot better to take, instead of keep shrinking this column down until nothing is legible, it's going to break it. So what it did was it took that 2, splits it now, goes all the way across the page, the 8 goes across, and the 2 goes across. So for mobile devices, it's responsive. And that's the beauty of Bootstrap. The rest of it is just pain. And you know what they say? Pain is beauty. Beauty is pain. So we've talked about the grid. Let me just go back and relive this a little bit. I'm going to apply source formatting here, clean it up a little bit. I'm going to show you the code full screen. So what did I do? I go to the top, called out made a new HTML doc, right? Went out and I got the latest style sheet. I also got the latest script, which is right to here. This is JavaScript. I don't think it's required, but it's not going to hurt anything to go get it. So you do that. And then I've added my own style. You're not going to add your own style here. You're going to add your own style sheet, right? You're going to make your own style sheet separately and link to it. I'm just lazy. Didn't want to write a separate style sheet for this. So I'm just doing a single demo page. And what I did was I said, okay, override all of the column medium 1 through 12 styles to have this this border. And of course I can also modify the font. Rumph. And I can make the font size 30 pixels. Okay. So what your mission is, and this is going to take, I'm going to give you at least a week on this, probably a week on this, is we're going to build a page that I have yet to sketch out. So I've sketched it out, but I'm going to sketch it out again on the whiteboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a page. What's this? It's a container, right? That's going to be, so that'll be our first piece of code. We're going to just do grids. So we're going to do a heading area. What was it? Okay, so last year every year I've done this. So should we change this? What should we make a dedication? Well, we're making a page that's an homage to something. Every year I've done it to the Exxon Valdez disaster because it was like the first time I did it. It was like the 20th anniversary. Something a little modern. Britney Spears comeback. Britney Spears comeback. Please keep the pictures clean. I spelled Britney wrong. Okay, that's a little lighter. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drop in some photographs of Britney. This is also makes for people who are borrowing code from their previous classes won't be able to borrow the code. So what I want to do is I want to create a page with photographs in it. And so Wow, this is coming out a lot better than usual. Okay. Each one of these will be a photograph. Like I said, keep it clean. You know, I'm just winging it here with Britney Spears, so I'm hoping that you guys can, you know, respect the artist, if not the person. And we're going to do this with grids. The question is this. So what I was showing you, what I just showed you was how to do like an Excel spreadsheet. It's just like cell, 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 cell across, and this would be a row. Well, you've got this other stuff in the middle and use two verticals. How do you do that? So you're nesting. And so I'm making this hard because you will thank me later, really, I think. No, you won't. Curse me later. So what happens is you start by creating a row with 3 elements, just like I just did, a 2, an 8, and a 2. 2, 8, 2. And once you've got that, you're going to drop inside the 8 row, the 8 column, and you're going to do another row, and you're going to nest that. And so now I'm going to go to the green. Sure, let's do that. So that's a row. How many colors do I get? That's a row. That's a row. And the last one. No. And that's a row. Questions? Other than, what the hell are you talking about? Okay. So let's do it. I can do this I can bang this out pretty quick here. So let's, do you want to clear the screen? No. So I've already started, right? I did my 2, 8, and 2. Guys, this is where comments are going to save your life. And I'll tell you why, because it's going to get crazy. You're going to have all of these divs nested, all of these divs. You get off by one, it's over. Your head comes away from your shoulders, the game is over. There can be only one. Nobody gets the reference, good. Okay. And then the other thing, I saw someone doing this, I think Alicia was doing this, is like when she's typing her code, HTML doesn't care about returns you put in here. So put a bunch of returns in, you know, if you need the space. Okay, so I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of calling this out. And if I come back up here and say, apply source formatting, you know, it's going to take away all those extra returns, which is fine. But for now, just for my brain to see this and get my head around it, I can see it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work in this middle. I'm going to nest. Remember I showed you the middle column. So now I'm going to inside this 8 column, I'm going to go row, 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 gently down the stream. All right. Try to keep up, guys, will you? All right. I'm going to do a div. Oops. I'm going to do a div. Today. I'm going to go class. I'm going to go row. And I'm going to close it. Again, this is just me, but this is the way I do it. I'll open a div, I close a div. I open a div, I close a div. If you're typing this stuff and you go, oh yeah, I'll get to that div later. I'll close that div later. You're going to break it. It will break. So you have a good movie reference on that. That was you ever see anybody see AI? Steven Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick movie, the teddy bear, when he says the kid's doing something crazy and the teddy bear goes, "You'll break." I like that. I love that line. It's a mediocre movie, but it's a good line. All right, so I've done row. I'm going to do div, class, and I'm going to do another column. And I'm going to do medium, and what did we go? So the first one we got to do is we're doing we're doing this top green row right here, right? So how many elements are there? Remember, we're going to split this into 12. So 12 divided by 4? 3, right? So 3, I like simple math. 3 columns that go across. So I just say, I told you not to. Okay. Medium dash 3. Close it. And I'm going to just say pick here 3. Beauty of copy paste. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do I get for the deal? Let's have a look. So not much, because I'm just seeing that first row. The trick really is when you go to the second row, you'll start to see it. So let's do a new row. And I'm going to just copy paste. And I'm going to put before I do that, I'm going to say, whoops. I'm going to say first nested row. Okay. Now I can copy and paste. You notice I'm getting the row too. So this is a common mistake. Again, try to think of the row as like a UL or any other thing. It's a nest. It's a collection of things, right? So the row would be the UL, and each column would be a list item, would be the comparison. Okay, so again, these are not right. I'm going to just delete these to get down to 1. What was the next row? It's 1 single all the way across. Cool. Get back. So that's a what? That's a 12, right? I told you no. Okay, let's do it. Ooh, scared. So you see what happened? Is now my next picture is there. And we can just keep doing this. All right, somebody remember this. 2 and 1. Okay, 2 columns and then 1 column. Dark. Okay, did I close the row? It looks like I deleted it on accident. Okay. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Wrong. Let's go back to our code. First nested row. Did you see what I did? I screwed up because I was looking at the wrong chunk of code. So like I said, it pays to benefit, or it pays to comment your code. Okay, so the next one's a 2, and the next one's a single. This is then a 6 and a 6. Copy that. And so we've got a 12. So it's a single column, a double column, and a single column. So I've done a 6, a 12. I'm sorry, 12, 2 6s, and a 12. Let's go back to the live view. All right, so there is my rough layout of my images. So I still got to get pictures in here, right? But I could do something as simple as just go and get pictures of Britney Spears off of the internet and paste them, you know, just put an image tag in each of these and it would fill. It's going to get all wonky because the images won't be the same height. We'll talk about that on Thursday. But for now, try to get the this framework and start playing around with this, okay? I'm recording this. I'm going to stop recording here in a second, and then we can just play around with it. There's another, no, I'm not going to tell you that. All right, I'm done. So, right, cool. I'm shutting up. So let's try it. I'm gonna take this picture here, and maybe there we go.